So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down my formula that we had there. Tn, give me a black pen. Tn equals to a plus n minus 1 d, where a is equal to my first term and d is equal to common difference. Okay, so that's no problem, thank you. So the first step that we have here, we are going to find out what my first term is, and I'm also going to find out what my difference is. So let's find out what's the first term here. Can anyone tell me? 15, yeah, very good. So we can see that T1, T2, T3, T4. So we know that my first term is equal to 15. That's going to be my A in this formula that we have, okay? And this formula, for those who just joined, this formula is in your log tables. You will always have it in your log tables, so you won't have to remember or learn it off by heart. Okay, can anyone tell me then, what's my common difference? First of all, is this going up or down? Yeah, it is 4. Good. It's going down. So what we're going to have here is that this is going to be minus 4. From 15 to 11 is minus 4. From 11 to 7 is minus 4. And from 7 to 3 is minus 4. We know it's linear because it's constant. So it's the same difference every time. It's going down by minus 4. So now I know that's my first step. I know my common difference is minus 4. Okay. My second step then, I'm going to substitute. So into my formula there that I have, I'm going to substitute my A, and I'm also going to substitute my D. Okay. I probably should put up here as well what this would be. The question that they would ask here is, find an expression that represents the following sequence. Okay, that's normally the question that is asked. Find an expression that represents the following sequence. Okay, let's go ahead then and substitute. So I have Tn equals, now instead of A, I'm going to replace with my 15 plus n minus 1 doesn't change unless I'm being asked what term, like if they said 50th term of this, but we'll have a go at that in a second. So I have n minus 1, and then instead of D, I'm going to put minus 4. My third step then is just to simplify. So when I simplify, that's going to be minus 4 by n, and then it's going to be minus 4 by minus 1. So simplifying this, I get Tn equals to 15 plus, okay, let's multiply in that minus 4. If it makes it easier for you guys, actually, I probably should just put that into little brackets. Otherwise, you might think it's take away 4. Okay, so I'm just going to put that into little brackets so that you know it's not take away 4. Okay, so minus 4 by plus n is going to give me minus n, minus 4n. So I'm actually just going to rub that plus sign out because it's going to give me minus 4n. Hopefully you understand that. That's from algebra last year. If I multiply a number by a variable, or what, you know, in basic English, a letter, that just gives me minus 4n. Okay, then I have, so that part is done. Then I have minus 4 by minus 1, which gives me plus 4. Minus by minus gives me a plus. Don't forget that. Okay, final part then. I just want to simplify it. Again, is there anything I can add or subtract here? Any like terms? We don't have minus 4, no. 15 plus 4. Yeah, very good, Howie. So I have a 15 and I have a plus 4. I cannot add these two terms. Okay, they're not like. One has a letter, one is a number. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So now for my answer, I get Tn equals, I have 15 plus 4. Can you note how I always include the sign that's in front of that number? There is no sign in front of this number, and if we were in class, I'd show you my invisible maths wall, and that's one thing. If there's no sign in front of the number, it's always going to be positive. Here we have a sign in front of this number, which is plus 4. So that means I add those two together. So I get 15 plus 4 gives me 19 minus 4n. And that's my final answer. I can't change that. Okay. Now, one thing that I didn't show you in the last slide, but I will show you now. We can do a little check. So if I check, let me check T2. So I know that T2 is equal to 11. Okay. And I can see that from my sequence here. T2 is equal to 11. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the number 2 in all of this here. And if I'm correct, if this is the right expression, then I should get the answer of 11. Okay, let's have a go. So T2 equals to 19 minus 4 multiplied by 2. And if I check that, I get 19 minus 8, which is in fact 11. So I know that my expression is correct. Okay, so I actually show that to my 5th years all the time. They really get confused sometimes with these. And I say that's a really nice little check, because then you can see if you've done the right. I can put in T3, which is 7. I can put in T4, which is 8. And all I'm doing, or which is, sorry, 3. And all I'm doing is, instead of the n, I'm going to substitute with whatever. So for example, if I'm T3, instead of my n here, I'd put in 3 and I should get the answer of 7. If I'm going T4, instead of 2 here, I'd put in 4, and therefore 4 would go in here and I should get the answer of 3. Okay. Okay, so just on that, make that a little bit smaller now. And we'll just bring my check up here. I said to you earlier, for example, when does this really come in handy? Let's say, for example, I wanted to find T100. Now, can you imagine having to go 100 terms, subtracting 4 every time, probably on your calculator, going minus 4, writing down everything? Be really painful, okay? So what I can do instead is I can now use my new expression, and I can just substitute 100 in for the n. So I have 19 minus 4 by 100. And what I'll get is 19 minus 400, which when I pop that into a calculator, 19 minus 400, I get T100, the 100 term, is equal to minus 381. Can you imagine if you had to list out all 100 terms to go back as far as minus 381? It might also be really a good time as well to look over integers. So that's, subtracting negative numbers. Negative by a negative gives me a plus. That's all stuff that was covered last year. Okay, I'll be doing it as I go along. I'm not going to just start multiplying negative signs and not tell you what I'm doing. So I will tell you what I'm doing as I'm going along, but just something that you might want to have a look at. Anyway. So the first thing you would have had to do was identify your A, which we know in this case is the number 5. That's my first term, T1. And then my D, well, this is going up in 5s. And again, going up in plus 5s, okay? We often don't kind of identify that because 5 we always assume is positive unless it has a sign in front of it, but it is plus 5. And then the second thing we're going to do is plug it into my formula. So I have Tn equals to 5 plus n minus 1 multiplied by 5. The next step, I'm going to simplify that. I'm going to multiply the 5 by n, and I'm going to multiply the 5 by minus 1. When I do that, I get Tn equals 5. 5 by n equals plus 5n. That part's done. 5 by minus 1 gives me minus 5. And then my very last part, 5 and I have a minus 5. They're my like terms. I can see that the both of them cancel. 5 minus 5 gives me 0. So I get Tn is equal to 5n. Okay. Now, if I want to check that, so I had said to you could use T4. So I know that T4 is equal to 20. And I can see that from here. Okay. Yeah, I can see that from here. So if I pop in T4 and I put that into here, I get 5 multiplied by 4, which gives me 20. So I know my expression is correct. Any questions on those? Just going to give you very, very similar ones for tonight. So you're just going to be using that exact same formula. And what I'll do is I'll pop this video up as well, so that you can go back over the notes from today. I won't have the first part where I just did all the notes, the 2, 4, 6, 8 one. I forgot to record that. But hopefully you'll be able to get that from the notes, understand what's happening from the notes, and then you can look at this video and see what you think yourself. Okay?